basically, I think overall we are definitely moving in the right direction. I think we're going to come up with legislation that is promotes farmer market venues, but at the same time keeps the basic tenets of public health, and that is the goal. One of the things I'm looking at is when you look at our community in St. Louis County, and you look at what's going around you in the surrounding counties, you do want to promote, for public health reasons, you want to promote farmers markets, farmer market venues coming into communities having fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. As you know, we do have a problem with obesity in our community. The more people eat fresh fruits and vegetables, the better. So that is why we really want, especially our Missouri farmers, to come out. That's why there's no fee associated with it. We do education and we allow them to do sampling. I think the distinction here is everyone thinks when you talk about a traditional farmer's market, it's just a bunch of farmers with fruits and vegetables. And actually what we see is that our farmers are only about 40 to 50% of the audience, and the remainder of the audience are actual vendors or food establishments that go into or follow farmers markets. And these individuals do everything from sell things from warehouses or factories or bulk items or pastas to actually cooking you an omelet on site. And that is the point when I say as a health department, okay, that's fine. But because of the risk of food-borne illnesses, outbreaks, the issue that we don't have running water, there's no toiletry facilities necessarily always available, we need to make sure that these individuals are doing it in the most sanitized way possible. And that's really what this is about.
But the county had already addressed that issue with the 14-day permits already. So this is not directly just...
No, it's not just... And one of the things they said is, you keep doing this every 14 days. We got to keep reapplying. Is there a better way for us to do this? Can you streamline the paperwork? And one of the things I will admit that was a great suggestion by the market managers was that we had several applications for several different things, but we've actually been able to streamline that to one application that's one page that kind of like you either declare yourself a Missouri farmer with fresh fruits and vegetables, or you declare yourself an establishment or a vendor. You tell us what you're selling. And so the paperwork has been streamlined. We're also looking at the fact that by the way we provide the services, we can still do the initial inspection. We can still inspect every food establishment, vendors, do education with the farmers on a monthly basis, and basically reduce the price that we currently have. That it is a little bit of subsidy we do offer there because we're promoting farmers markets. So we don't actually charge them what it actually costs us to do it. For example, an initial inspection of a food establishment at a farmer's market actually costs us about $64, and a subsequent inspection is about somewhere between $35 and $40. And we're saying we will only charge them $75 for the entire season of a traditional farmer's market, which is 7 months. And the reason we stick with the 7 months is, despite what a lot of people have said, the Missouri farmers have not come to us and said, we want to expand the 7-month season. We've had no input from any Missouri farmers that say we want to expand our growing season. And if they did want to expand their growing season, since it's permit-free and there's no permit, they would be allowed to do that. It's the individuals who are becoming food establishments that want to do it year-round that we may have an issue with. The appropriate permit, and we know what you're doing. If you are a Missouri farmer and you bring in fresh fruits and fresh vegetables or whatever you want to do, and you want to do it year-round, we welcome that. We want you to do it year-round, and actually we do have a lot of farmers who do that, but there is no permit fee attached to that. They're allowed to operate and let us know that they're there, and we do education, but we don't charge a fee or permit. So we would see no problem if a Missouri farmer had the technology that really, really wanted to go the full 12 months, that they'd be able to do that. My issue is when you have a situation where you have someone who's using a waffle iron or a couple of hot skillets to cook omelets for the public and prepare meals for them year-round, without any permanent indoor plumbing, no way to truly wash their hands, and no running water. That is a concern. You have crossed over. Now you are a food establishment, and you're not temporary. Temporary is temporary. Permanent is permanent. Permanent is 12 months of the year, year-round. So now you are a permanent food establishment, and that's what the difference is.
What kind of changes do you see coming out of any future discussion before they introduce either a new bill?
I think there's going to be an honest discussion, because one good question that was raised here is that you do have some people who do what they call spring markets and some people who do winter markets, and we've had that in St. Louis, and we've always permitted our winter markets. But in St. Louis County, we have a 100% turnover rate in our winter markets, and that all of our winter markets physically close their spring markets and relocate. So what they have to offer as far as indoor plumbing or running water is totally different than what we saw in the spring, and that's why we permit them. So what they're able to do with infrastructure, they may not have been able to do when they were open in the spring just with a table and a table.